Well, good morning and welcome to Mayor's Weekly. We're pleased to be back here. We were away last week for Thanksgiving. I hope that the holiday was a pleasant time for you and your family, and you found plenty to eat and did enjoy spending time with your family. Today I've asked our Chief Financial Officer, Kathy Shambliss, to join me, and we're going to talk about 2 or 3 subjects that, depending on what our time will allow, but I want to open with the subject of COVID-19. Everybody is entitled to their opinion. They're entitled to their constitutional rights. And whether or not you elect to be smart, that's your call. Has nothing to do with opinions or constitutional rights. But what we know is that we've had people come here and define the in defiance of the things that have been rolled out to us by highly educated healthcare professionals as a way to turn this pandemic back, and there's been as I travel around this city, a gross indifference to those measures that have been rolled out to us. They're proven to work, and again, people are entitled to that. But the thing I want to share with you is this: when you elect not to wear a mask, when you elect not to use hand sanitizer, when you elect not to gather in large groups and that sort of thing, the way I see it is this: the life you save may very well be your own. And that's serious for me. I don't know. I value my life. I hope other people do. But Kathy, I know family member, you were at our emergency room earlier in the week. We've had information flow to us from credible sources, but a little overview of what you know and where we're at right here. This is not in Montgomery. This is not in Huntsville or Birmingham. We're talking about Jasper, Alabama. Kathy, tell us a little bit about what you learned in your trip to the hospital with your family member.
Well, our emergency room is at capacity. Our hospital is at full capacity. So very serious for anyone that needs to go to the hospital. It's very difficult to get in hospitals right now. My family member is currently at Princeton. There was about a 4-hour wait at the emergency room. They're at capacity. So this is a very serious situation if you have an illness. So please take care of yourself, take care of those around you, do everything you can to prevent having to go through needing to go to hospitals at the present time.
Well, and what I see here, Kathy, is this: is that somebody's loved one is probably not receiving the care that they desperately need, not because our healthcare folks are being derelict. They just do not have the capacity. And I was talking with a healthcare professional earlier in the week that we may be a week away from seeing the Thanksgiving rush. It was brought there. So here we are at capacity, and things could worsen from where we're at right here. So please, I hope you do it for yourself. But if not, for your fellow man, wear a mask. Stay out of large groups. Do those things that have been rolled out. Some people have been critical of the governor's Safer at Home Act. Let me tell you something. That, in my opinion, and I'll take all the criticism that you want to give me, that should be more rigid, because people are dying. I read this morning that our numbers are higher than they've ever been, and more one-day deaths than we've ever had. It's not happening somewhere else. It's happening in Jasper, Alabama. People's loved ones are dying every day because of COVID. You can play a role in helping this situation to subside if you elect to, and I hope you will. Kathy, we move along from that, and I want to talk just a little bit about our warming station. The the weather we've had the last few days certainly has pointed up a need for a warming station. And when I came to office some 4 years ago, I know you and I talked about it, and there'd been some attempt to try to have a warming station, whatever, and I certainly didn't know how to run a warming station, and I don't think we had anybody in the city, and that's not being critical of anybody. How do you do it? What parameters you put in place, that sort of thing. And our folks at the Jasper Family Services Center, and Kathy, I can't remember how we connected, but they've just done a tremendous job. They're based in the old West Jasper School, and they have folks with social work backgrounds, that sort of thing. Donna Kilgore was there. I'll have a meeting with Donna early next week, but just took the bull by the horns, said we'll make it happen. And what we said, the council, 'cause they're the only folks can allocate money, if you'll do that, we'll pay the bills.
And
That's what we're doing, and it has worked flawlessly, hasn't it?
It has, and certainly such a huge benefit to certain members of our city and our community, but it's a great service that was put together.
And all the pieces that make it work, you have to have some semblance of bedding as those folks come and spend the night. You have to have security, and that's very expensive. You have to have rules that are very rigid rules. That's where security comes into play. And then, if you have problems, once people come there, maybe sickness, health problems, whatever, you need to be able to deal with those sort of things. But Donna reached out to folks that had successful warming stations, and were able to, I guess you'd say, plagiarize their plan, bring it to Jasper, put it in place, and then I said it worked flawlessly. We know that the temperatures are going to fall to a certain level. The warming center is going to be open. If you want to learn more about that, certainly you can call City Hall, you can text us, or you can go online to the Jasper Family Services Center. They have hours of operation, the conditions for coming to the warming center, and but it's a service that's extremely important, and I'm pleased that we could be a part of it. I'm pleased that we could partner with such qualified people as Donna Kilgore and her staff at Jasper Family Services Center.
Absolutely.
Yeah, good. The next thing I want to talk about is the paving on Highway 118. There's always critics for everything, and that's just the way things work. And that project has drawn criticism. I kind of chuckle under my breath as I read some of the criticism, but Highway 118 is a state highway, and resurfacing roads. Kathy, I know you're going to agree with me because you and I had a discussion about it. But resurfacing roads is akin to remodeling your house. Very, very inconvenient when it's going on.
Yeah, so true.
But it's so nice when you get through.
Everybody be so happy.
That's right. And what we know based on what has been told to us by the State Highway Department or ALDOT, Alabama Department of Transportation, that this project should wrap up fairly soon. I think 2 contractors are coming in to expedite the paving. This project, last year, Governor Ivey lobbied the state legislature to increase gasoline taxes under the umbrella of the Rebuild Alabama Act, and the monies that are being collected through additional gasoline taxes are paying for this bill. Kathy, there's not one penny that's coming out of the city budget, is there?
No, sir.
No. We're going to have a nice, smooth, well-constructed highway surface running from the western bounds of our city limits to the eastern bounds of our city limit. I know somebody reached out and criticizing how they mill back into some of the paving we've done. Necessary to make it all fit together. It'll be resurfaced, it'll tie together seamlessly, and if you find it preferable to criticize that, I think if you pause, take a look, and see what we're going to have at the end of the day when this is finished, and think about it, has not cost this city one penny. I think your desire to criticize what's going on will go away. Now, what we've just learned in the early part of this week, it was announced ALDOT has awarded a bid for the resurfacing of what we know as Elliott Boulevard. And I can see this. It's often thought that Elliott Boulevard is a city street. Not so, is it, Kathy?
No,
That's a part of Highway 269.
It is.
That's a state highway. They're going to spend, my recollection is, approaching $3 million on that resurfacing. That'll probably get underway before the end of the year. We'll have some of the same experiences you've had on Highway 118, and we're going to see some reconfiguring on the south end of 269 over in where Posey's store was at, and time doesn't allow to go into those details, but it's going to be a big improvement. You're going to see some sidewalk work at where we can reroute pedestrian traffic, and going to be a great add to our city. And it's important to keep in mind ALDOT could spend this money anywhere they want to spend this money. They could be spending this money in Andalusia or Opp or Pale City, but we have a great relationship with ALDOT, and great relationships usually produce benefits. You agree?
Absolutely. And we're benefiting from those relations.
Yeah, and it's making a big, big difference. The last thing I want to talk about is industrial retail prospects. Unemployment rate, there's a neat article in our paper middle part of last week that set out unemployment rates in the northwest Alabama counties, and what was interesting to me, and I'm pleased about this, that in one respect, that the unemployment rate in those counties contiguous to Walker County, northwest and southwest, that being Fayette, Marion, and Winston County, lower than Walker County, because we've been hit hard by the downturn again in the coal industry, and that's just the history of Walker County. But those folks in Winston County, Marion County, Fayette County, so many of those folks come to Jasper to buy their automobiles and their groceries and their clothes and to shop and to eat out and that sort of thing. And it's just a big contributor to our economy. And Kathy, what you shared with me, what we've looked at, 60% of what we live on as a city comes from sales tax revenue.
It does.
And as that grows, then certainly it allows us to do more things in the way of infrastructure, make enhancements to city services, and running a city is very expensive, and people don't get a chance to see this close up, but just in the last 2 weeks, this has been in the making for some time, we have purchased a new fire truck, and we'll talk about that, rounded $600,000. Tuesday, the council approved, we had a garbage truck that was involved in an accident. It totaled the truck. We bought a new garbage truck, rounded $300,000. That tells you how quick you can get rid of $1 million. Snap, can't you?
Oh.
And it was so nice, this garbage truck thing. We hadn't expected this was a functioning garbage truck, and we'll get some insurance proceeds from that truck being totaled. But we didn't have to go anywhere and get sized up for credit worthiness to whether we could afford to buy the truck or whatever. our financial situation that we worked diligently on for the last 4 years allowed us to simply write a check by the garbage truck.
Took care of it.
That's right. And we've got a plan for that. But now, what we know is we have 2 industrial prospects. One of them we know is real. That I think it'll be. There's been a kind of a low-key announcement of this. There'll be a major announcement, I think, in the next couple of weeks that will probably add 75 jobs right away in this city. It has the potential to bring about a huge number of indirect jobs. All of those are important to our city. We have an industrial prospect in our industrial park. I'm told that is real. I haven't had any indication of when that announcement will come. Another 75 to maybe 150 jobs over the next 2 or 3 years. It's those things that drive your city, because if you don't have payroll dollars, you don't have sales tax revenue, as Kathy tells you, to fund this city. We know that we have a major retail prospect. We're told that that's real. It will locate in the mall area. I have not had a report in about a week and a half on that, but I've not had anything negative. But all those things are going to bode well for our city. If we can get all of these things to come to fruition, it certainly puts us in a position to kick off 2021 with a high level of optimism. Would you agree, Kathy?
Very optimistic about 2021. When we get through this COVID stuff, we're going to have another good year.
Yeah, Kathy and I talked back in March. If you think about COVID's about to be a year old, isn't it?
March.
And we were biting our nails, if you will. It's what we're going to do. As it turned out, we had a record year, and it's our goal to do the same this year, because it allows us to continue to make enhancements to the quality of life, the services we provide. Case in point, new fire truck, which helps your insurance premiums on your home, being able to, you can't run a solid waste department without a garbage truck. To be able to take care of that situation immediately. If we hadn't had the finances, then we could have really been sidelined in our solid waste program. If we went to a bank to see if we could borrow money, that sort of thing, that could have taken a month or so. The truck was wrecked a few days earlier of us buying a brand new one, and so I'm not surprised if the new one's not already on the job and picking up garbage across our city. So it's kind of an overview of what was going on. As we wrap up here, I go back to COVID. Please think about COVID. If you take these precautionary measures, the life you save may be your own. We'll look forward to being with you next week. Thank you.